Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing great. Hey, there's been some comical chats. There's been some comical things going on, and so I'm running just a minute late. But hey, you got to take time to giggle a little bit, and it's good to see everybody bailing off in here. All these great people. Always great to see all y'all. I've been trying to catch the chat what I could as it was coming in, and so I wasn't so far behind. There's some of them love to comment on, so I'll try to catch them. But we'll start up here. Finding Kino. Hello. Chrissy Cat. Hello. Chrissy Cat, I'd love to hear the poem that you have said you have wrote. And I think you're the one that wrote one, and we stuck it up on, when I was on Liberty Warrior, we stuck it up on the homepage. So if it's a good poem, I'm going to take it and I'll stick it on my About page if I can get it over there and put it up. So anyway, Frank's Time. Yes, this is the place where we try to know everybody's name. We try to involve everybody. Uh, Now, my co-host, he'll be here in a minute. He must have eaten a little too much dinner and had to take a cat nap, so he's running a few minutes late. Let's see, Frank Stein. Let's see, Devil Dog. Well, I'm glad you found that comical. I was trying to put something different in there. The Cat, hello. Chris McGrath, Trudy Huddleston, Wyatt Herb. It's good to see you coming back in. You've been kind of scarce here lately, and I understand why. So, but it's good to see you. Let's see who else. And I don't know if I'll give you the index finger or what finger I'll give, but a thumbs up's always good. Meemaw Patriot, I did play with your song a little bit, trying to get to know it. So hopefully it's a tough one, but I think I can get it pulled off. Tanya Burns, Betty Blackwilder, Karen Thompson. Let's see. Chris Gilbert. Yeah, Betty, we try to be. This is a fun time show. Yeah, we try to be. Yeah, we try to be. Like I said, you can go to all them other ones and get all the news nonsense you want, but here we just get tired of it. Now, if there's something to put out and it's really good, then yeah, we're going to talk about it. Sharon Whitmore, hello. So anyway, yeah, it's been I've been getting a lot of when Rob was hanging around. I've been have to answer a bunch of comments that show up on my comments on older shows. So it's been nonstop half the damn day just going through them, commenting, and just trying to keep everybody somewhat sane. I don't want anybody to feel like they're left out. Bill State National, good to see you too. Yeah, we'll see how giggly Mr. Giggles is when he shows up. He should be here anytime. I called him and woke him about 2 minutes till the show. So, Michael, hello. Betty, my day was fairly decent. It wasn't real active, but it was decent. And I wasn't complaining by no means. The Sassy Boy Lounge, huh, Christy Cat? That was good. Well, me and my brother, we build furniture, wooden furniture also, and it's called the BS. It's a B laying on its back with the S going down through the middle of it. So it works out pretty good. It's the BS furniture, and then now we got the BS show. So, but yeah, the S&B works too. The Sassy Boys, I like that. I like that. Margaret Egner, hello. It's good to see you, and thank you for enjoying the show. Now, that's the good thing about this. Most everybody in our chat, they know everybody or have conversated with everybody in the chat. Like I said, we try to make everybody involved. John H., it's about time you pop in here. It's been forever. I hope you got my message the other day when I sent it. Been a long time, and if you want, I'll drop you the link here in just a bit, and I'd like for you to come up. That's if you've got time. I know you're always busy. If y'all want your minds blown, that's who you talk to. Talk to John H. He knows a bunch of stuff. He goes in depth. That's fine, John. Just whenever you get a chance, just let me know. Give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat, and that's when I'll drop you a link. Garrett Thompson, Shane, the moon is not where you should be. I'm not on the moon by no means. Yeah, it's good to see all y'all coming in here. And like I said, we'll get Butch off here in a minute. Mr. Giggles. I think I'm going to change his name to Mr. Giggles. That boy, he gets to rolling, and he's a lot of fun. I'm sure it's straight up. I understand what you're saying. But we're getting into that time where the time lapse switches a little bit. And the equator is still, not the equator, but the North Pole is still moving a little bit. So, plus we got spring moving in. So it's going to change just a little bit. It's like the sun coming up straight east or just a hair northeast or hair southeast, depending on where you live. So it all changes a little bit about this time of year. March, it is where you usually notice it, but it is happening right about now. Yeah, I think the moon's out of shape. It's just doing its own damn thing. Yeah, Tanya Burns, I haven't got to speak with John H. since Liberty. And he quit showing up there. He got a big contract and he'd been just swamped. So he was busy. Yeah, Mr. B's a good guy. Yeah, I'm glad he came over here. Thank you, Chrissy Cat, for that. Yeah, 76 people in here watching and 32 thumbs up. We could work on that a little bit. That would be phenomenal. The more of them thumbs up we can get, the more that people, other great people can join in and enjoy us too. So it'll help with the algorithms. That and then all you good watchers and listeners that are here every night, that helps a bunch too. We've been maintaining approximately 1,000 people a night. Now, give or take, there's some nights it's a little slow or we ain't got a whole hell of a lot of anything to non-intelligent to say. So, there's some of them that's a little low, but I want to tell you, it's still a lot of fun. And when, we can maintain 1,000 people overnight, and some of them have to watch afterwards because they're working or what have you. But if we can maintain 1,000 people a night, That just shows that we're doing something that everybody tends to enjoy a little bit. So, and that's what I want to keep doing. It's just what people like. Deborah Terry, hello. Yeah, so far, Deborah, I'm doing pretty good as far as I know. No one's told me different, and I'm probably not going to listen to anybody either. I don't want them to tell me different. That's like you never know anything's wrong with you until you go to the doctor, and then they tell you. Then you get stressing about it, and that makes it worse. Yeah, it's been like I said, other than busy Monday, and today wasn't bad. Tomorrow we're supposedly going to have some snow and rain. Hopefully, no more thunderstorms come through like Sunday, Monday. Uh, Not that they affected me, other than we got a little bit of moisture, which everybody needs. Here, everybody down south, I should say. I don't know about up north. I know they got quite a bit of snow over the winter. So, and the old saying is, it takes a foot of snow to make 1 inch of rain. So, if their average yearly need is 6 inches of rain, well, that would take 6 foot of snow if it doesn't rain. Mary Freeland, hello. Yeah, we got quite a bit of rain Monday and Monday. And I'm going to tell you what, you thought it was a turd floater, and it ended up being just the ground was so thirsty it was gone before morning. The ground had already sucked it all up like it was a sponge. So it was pretty thirsty. Hello, Tracy. How you doing, girl? Good to see you. Cooking and listening. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Get something in your belly, get something in your ears. It's all good. Starting to think I'm gonna have to call Butch back and wake him up again. He may have fell back asleep. Trying to keep up a chat here a little bit. Gerald Cummings, I missed you. There you are. Okay, hello. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to miss you. Good thing Chrissy Cat said something or I'd have missed you. That's what's good about chat. If I miss somebody, they looky here.
Hey guys.
We woke the sleeping beauty here.
Yeah, sorry I'm late, everybody. It's been one of those days.
Mr. D Dog loved the title of the show.
What was it? Let's see, Mr. Giggles. I really do apologize, folks. I came in this evening and sat down, and the next thing I know, the phone was ringing. What are you doing,
Hey, Becky.
buddy?
Becky Justice, hello. It's good to see you, girl.
Shane's on the other end. What are you doing? I says, what do you mean? What am I doing?
Yeah, he's like, who are you? What do you want? You coming up tonight or what? I could tell he was asleep. I was like, damn, man.
Very, very busy day, brother.
Well, hey, I guess as long as it was productive.
I'm not used to them 5 a.m. wake up calls, you know?
Oh, I know. That's right. I think you said something about that yesterday. You'd get like 5 a.m.
Yeah, yeah. It don't happen often. I don't like it when it does happen. I hope everybody's doing great tonight.
Hang on. Deborah Terry's saying something I want to catch.
Let's see. Blimp over Dalton, Georgia?
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
Well, we can find out.
Uh, that's interesting.
Let's see.
Yes, Tracy, that sounds really good. You're making me hungry, and I just got through eating. Who did I holler hello?
Okay, here we go. There's something from Fox 5 Atlanta.
Okay.
No, that was just a blimp over Metro Atlanta. Uh, After sometimes unsettling, sometimes commercial, few weeks of talk about unidentified flying objects and reported Chinese spy balloons, a plain white blimp flying over Metro Atlanta. Get off there, stupid ad. Caught a lot of people's attention. An air sign airship blimp. Oh, it must be one of those blimp balloons that scroll the
Oh yeah,
advertising on the side.
yeah, like the Goodyear blimp.
Yeah, it stopped at the Dalton Municipal Airport where officials were caught with they caught a couple photos of it. It's just like the Goodyear blimp, except it's for hire. That's basically what it was.
Cool gamer, hello. Yeah, and I thought all the dirigibles were pretty much done. I didn't even know they had them anymore. I call them dirigibles. That was their original name. 'Cause I think Hitler was the first one to ever have a dirigible, and that's where the idea come from.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want to read further on this, there's an article on Fox 5 Atlanta. It goes on and on and on and on and on.
For days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ladder, if you didn't hear me earlier, hello, and it's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope your health's getting back in order. I know you had a couple little bouts there after your stroke. So, and John H is going to be hopefully when he gets done off his call. Hopefully, we'll be in here. I finally found John H and in my phone. I called him. I think I might even text him or emailed him.
Yeah.
And John H is stupid smart. Stupid smart. It'll blow your mind the shit he knows. And he deals with he he runs government contracts on all computer bases and shit.
Oh, really?
He knows all, and he's originally from Oklahoma.
Well, he's got some inside intel then.
He's always got something interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: he goes into such detail. Some people get bored with it. Not me. I'm like a sponge. I'm over here just sucking it up. But no, he's great to listen to. I love talking to him.
Yeah, I take as much information as I can get in.
I'm the same way, and usually my ass gets tired long before my brain gets tired of sucking it all up. And that's what they say. You know, you can only absorb. Your mind can only absorb what your ass can endure.
Well,
That's a true statement. I mean, remember back in school, 45 minutes of sitting around them hard ass chairs, and your brain's like, I'm done. I'm out of here. My butt hurts.
that's
So you
no
quit thinking
lie.
about what you're talking about. You keep thinking about your butt hurt.
There's a lot of truth there, Shane. Your brain goes to bed the longer you sit in them school chairs.
Oh, I know that's right. And they try to make them comfy. So they slope back. Well, that's a relaxing feeling. You wanna keep someone's attention, give them a lazy boy to sit there and listen to you. They'll
That'll
sit there all
work.
day long.
Yeah, that'll work. Give
Some
me,
of them be napping, but hey,
give me,
that's probably why they're all out of wood. So
give me
you
a
don't.
give me a lazy boy and a 76 or 70-inch TV, and you're mine. I'm yours for the day.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a zombie.
Elaine James, hello, honey. For everybody I missed when Shane did the welcomes, I apologize and hello to you all and thank you for being here very much.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that was looking forward to Mr. Giggles and all his giggling. So
Oh, be
we was,
careful what you
we was
ask
glad you
for.
showed up.
But I meant to be on time. I honestly did.
Yeah, it's all good, bud. It's all good. James Shepard and Gypsy Lizzie.
I ended up doing a little more work than I anticipated today, which is okay. I mean,
Well, it's part of it, man. Every once in a while, we got to go out there and do something silly and
yeah.
remind us of why we retire.
Yeah. That's what it was. A good reminder.
Well, I did something stupid yesterday. I think I told you that I got back into the pipe business, and boy, howdy, I forgot how much phone work that was. I mean, people have been blowing me up ever since they heard I was back into the pipe business again.
They've been ringing you off the hook today.
Oh, yeah, buyers and
Yeah.
sellers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I
going to
just
make
put the
some
word out.
dollars.
I was just going to make a few quick bucks, here and there, just for spending money, because I want to go on a little vacation. I don't want to take out of my retirement, just go on a little vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't work so well. That kind
You,
of blowed up my face, but hey, I'm going to make it work.
buddy, run with it while you can. You know.
Oh, absolutely, and I will. I got
Yeah.
one of my big buyers back. He used to buy, shoot, I don't know, $5,000-$10,000 a week worth of pipe.
Nice.
So now I got to keep him fed. So that's more work for me to make calls and find it.
Yeah.
I did come across a little guy I know. I say little guy. This young man I know that runs a big company, and he become a supervisor, and he's over all the sales, and he's putting it up for bid here pretty quick. It's, I don't know. There's over 120,000 feet of pipe.
Dang.
So yeah, it's and I try to make 25 cents a foot.
Well, that's job security there, brother.
It, and the good thing is, I've already got most all of it sold as soon as it comes through. If I can get the bid,
Wow.
usually
Well,
it's just coming up with the money up front. You're
yeah.
looking at dropping 50, 60 grand right out the gate.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
So yeah, when you say 120,000 foot, yeah, you're looking at. I mean, you can only get like 300 joints on a truck, and they're 30 foot long. So that's you know you're looking at maybe 4,000 feet.
Well,
You think 120,000 feet? That's
there
a
must
lot of trucks.
there must be a high demand for it down there.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of them use it for structural, like building corrals and fences. And hey, Professor Falcon, and a lot of people use it for a lot of it gets sent down to Mexico, and we take these old oil wells and we pull them, and they'll ship it down to Mexico. They'll flush it all out, and they'll use it as water pipe for irrigating apple orchards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I sell cable down there into Mexico. All right, John H says, let's do it. I'm going to drop him a link to come up. But yeah, no, I even sell cable, 3/8 to 5/8 cable down in Mexico. Because they use it, they put it across, and they put all their bird net over the top so the birds don't eat up all the damn apples.
Oh, cool.
And they buy hundreds and millions of feet of cable. And I've got access to cable. John H, I dropped the link for you, bud. And Chris Cat's also helping me out if you need it. I think she has grabbed it. Not going to have to get with Keno and start, which I've got it. I just need to start shooting him an email with my link in it every time so he has it on hand.
Hi, D-Dog.
Mr. Giggles.
Mr. Giggles.
We're going to change your name to Mr. Giggles.
Oh, no, we're not.
John H, what do you know, buddy?
I don't know anything. Ask anybody.
Yeah, well, we've asked people, and that's the problem. You know too much.
Hello, John.
Boy,
How's it going?
Good,
John,
good,
this is
good.
Butch. Butch, this is John.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
He's an old Oklahoma boy. I think he's up in Kansas now.
Hang on just a second. I think we got an echo going here.
I think I muted. Did I mute? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I don't hear an echo on your end. I don't hear one on his, so it must be on his side on YouTube. Or I
Okay.
usually hear myself talking.
Well, I was half brain dead when I logged on. I wasn't sure what I did. It's like click, 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 click.
Yeah, don't even have time to make my damn coffee. Come on.
I
Give me
made
a
my
minute.
coffee. Oh, you had to wait. I made my coffee.
I know you did. So I don't know if he passed back out on calling back again or what's going on. I'm gonna have to give him a holler.
I think
know
I'm getting the whole thing played over and over and over.
Yeah, you get your YouTube still on, or your speakers are too loud. Your
Yeah.
external speakers. Because we're not hearing it, so it's got to be all on your end through your headphones or something.
Oh, I can hear it now.
I can hear it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to have my coffee, brother Shane. I know where
Yeah.
my priorities are, man.
My end is much better now.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, we don't hear you, so we're good.
That's real super clear, too.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Better-
he's usually.
It better be my old machine crashed and I had to buy a new one.
Yeah, sounds great, bub.
You crashed. You didn't just rebuild it.
Well, it crashed against the wall after it kept crashing.
It was an accident.
That's the problem with laptops. They're very easy to dispose of.
Yes, sir.
They're not made for a flight. Is that what you're saying?
It's like strike one, strike two. Oh, it's a grand slam.
Literally.
You did tear the cover off of the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, they make good fillers for footers.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a older machine, but it had been through the ringer. So it got to where it would just shut off for no reason, and it was a hardware problem. And I'm like, nah, I don't have time to mess with it. So,
Yep.
Devil dog, I don't have a Mr. Coffee. I use a Keurig.
Oh, you
One
want
cup.
to use one of those quick, instant little things,
Yeah,
huh?
one cup at a time.
All
so
right,
yeah,
well, you have-
Shane, I'm back down in your neck of the woods now.
You back down in Oklahoma?
Yeah,
What
I
that? I know you
can
had
probably
corrected
throw a
it,
rock
huh?
and hit your roof.
Really? Where'd you end up hitting?
South of OKC, your
Down
old stomping grounds.
Down towards Ardmore in that area?
A little further south,
All righty then.
not quite to Waurika.
Oh, I see. I was in Comanche for a while. That's where my son's mother
Mhm.
lives. Comanche and Duncan and
Yep.
Chickasha and
Yeah, I'm back in Duncan.
oh wow, cool. And
I
what
did-
drug you back down there?
Huh?
What drug you back down there?
My wife screaming and kicking.
That sounds like somebody's screaming and kicking. It wasn't you.
Now I got family down here and they're getting in bad health, and I was trying to manage everything from up there in Kansas City over the phone, and
Just don't
Hey.
work. Yep.
things were happening. So it's very hard to strangle people through the phone.
Yeah, I know that's right.
I didn't say with the phone. I said through the phone.
Yeah, they don't make cords like they used to, do they?
No.
Damn cordless phones. You can't strangle anybody anymore.
Yeah. It just doesn't mean the same when you hit the hang up button really hard.
Oh, I know it. It don't blam in her ear. It just beep.
Hi,
Young, hello.
Rose.
Good to see you, and Conservative Cowboy, hello.
Yeah.
So, how has your life been treating you since you're back in the Oklahoma territory?
Well, I'm back in Oklahoma. That should speak for itself.
Well, that's probably true too.
It's like a vortex, sucks you back in. Almost
All
got
right.
away. No,
All roads lead to Oklahoma. If you've ever been here, you'll get sucked back here every time. I don't know how many times I've left, and this is
Yeah.
right back where I end up.
Well, I don't
I'd
know.
say-
I left in '78, Shane. I haven't been back since.
You left Oklahoma in '78.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know you was actually here.
Yeah, I spent 2 years down there. Went to school there, actually. Went to Moore and went to
Oh, you was down
Central.
in Moore. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I lived in Moore and went to Central High School for 1 year.
Well, I don't blame you. I lived down in Moore for a while. I can make some good money there, but yeah, I got out of there. Too many people for me.
So what year were you in? What year did you graduate?
I graduated up here where I'm at now in '80.
He graduated 9 years before I did.
I was I was in the class in which Duncan went undefeated 3 years in a row. So I always ask if somebody went to Oklahoma schools, I always ask if they were class of
Well,
86 or anything like that, so I can say, yeah, we beat y'all in football, and I can say that with confidence because we beat everybody in football that year.
yeah,
In '86.
if
Yep.
you if you remember the subdivision years after that that got wiped out by the tornado, that's where I lived for 2 years.
Yeah,
And
see, I was up there in that new edition where it gets hit every other year with tornadoes or microbursts. That's what kept me in business when I was there. They'd rip down fences and rip off roofs, and I'd go around in the whole I never even had to leave the damn neighborhood except to go get supplies. Other than that, I was working footsteps from the house.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Sunday we didn't get hit by a tornado, but you can't tell by the pictures.
Right. Microburst blew everything up.
It tore this town apart.
Yeah, it missed my brother by 13 miles, missed my niece by 3 miles. I still have two brothers that live down there, John, one in OKC and one in Hera.
Yeah, OKC had a few tornadoes. There was one west of here, but we got hit with just straight line winds. I think it was 100. What they say, 114 miles an hour.
Wow.
And it was thunder and lightning. It hit, and 5 minutes later, it was gone. But man, I'll tell you what, it did damage all over town. It blew roofs off of buildings, and there's the big canopies, the gas station canopies. There's one of those up in a tree.
Oh, wow.
Just wrapped around it like a bad Christmas present.
Yeah, I used to go to that courthouse every 3 months for 5 years in a row. Every 3 months I was down there in Duncan, right off of Main.
No.
Yep, I was talking with somebody just the other day that knew all about that area down in there. Oh, it's one of my aunts, Ray. He's 66 years old. He was from down in that area, so he knows all about that area too. So we was talking about it yesterday. Matter of fact, that was an interesting conversation.
Yeah. And we're kind of adjusting from the big city because here, our choice for shopping is Walmart or Walmart.
Right.
We do have choices. Walmart has 2 entrance doors. You get to choose.
Yeah, you can go in either door. and as big as Duncan is, you would think they'd have a few more amenities to it. They don't even have a shopping mall.
Yeah,
they got those little strip malls, but there's no shopping mall. That just blew my mind.
Yeah. What gets me is Marlow has more stuff than Duncan, and Marlow's about half the size or smaller.
Oh, yeah, Marlow's the size of Beaver, Oklahoma. I know. Yeah, I used to go through Marlow and Rush Springs every time I'd head down there. Matter of fact, I worked up there right by Marlow.
Well, that don't make a lick of sense.
Nope. But I want to tell you what, Marlow has lots of money. They got a lot of old money in that town.
Well,
you go right downtown Maine.
Yeah.
It is nothing but beautiful homes. You go through downtown Duncan, looks like the slums.
That explains it.
Yep.
Well, a large part of Duncan, like where 7 Highway runs, all of those, if you're familiar with that area, all south of 7 Highway is just a bunch of broken down houses. Yes. Well, all of those houses used to be in the middle of 7 Highway, and they just kind of picked them up and plunked them over, and then built 7 Highway through the town. And they didn't, they literally moved those houses at like 3 a day. So
Yeah, that's the one on the south side there that runs east and west. Is that correct?
yeah.
Yeah, coming down 81. Yeah, that's that one they built through there. And yeah, the skating rink was just on the south side of that one.
Yep.
The old skating rink. Yep.
And now they've got a complete bypass now that you can keep going on that highway. Used to kind of stop at 81,
Right.
and it now wraps around and bypasses all of Duncan. And so you can take 7, get on the bypass, go all the way around Duncan, and come out between Duncan and Marlow out at the Duncan lot and Y.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they thought that would be good for business to just have people skip over Duncan completely.
Yeah. Get the trucks all out of the main town. Out of the main town.
Yeah, well, everybody else does it too, so it kind of didn't work.
Right. Yeah, you shut business down.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of amenities for trucks through town anyway.
Right.
But yeah, it's changed quite a bit from when I was here burning down the town.
Oh yeah. Trust me. When I was down there, it was in 1990. Down there for a couple of years, and then I was down there, like I said, for 5 years, off and on from 96 through 2003. I was down there every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, yeah, we'd been away for close to 25 years, so
wow,
it was a little bit of a shock moving back. But,
oh, I bet. Yeah, it ain't nothing like you remember, is it?
well, but I mean, we were in the city, and the city's getting crazy, and it just we were kind of ready to get out of there, and we got in a pretty good situation. We decided we came down here to visit a sick in-law, and while we were down here, we decided we were going to move back, and went back and loaded up. But we sold our properties up there at just the market just peaked right as we were decided to move, and
nice.
We found somebody that bought. They were wanting to pick and choose, and I'm going, nope, you're not. I'm not going to sell them that way. You got to buy everything or nothing.
Yeah, blanket. Yep.
And I got 3 or 4 people in there that were lowballing me, and I'm just like, nope. Here's exactly what I've got to have. If and they go, well, you're just going to raise the price on us. I go, nope. If you give me this amount of money, I'll sign it over today. And a guy did.
Nice.
And then the market here in Duncan kind of went kaput about a week, right about that same time. And so we sold high and bought low. And
hell yeah, you got twice the house you ever needed.
Yeah,
twice the cleaning.
In the end, we got a pretty nice house, but it hadn't been updated since it was built in the 70s. So,
well, when they're dated, it's okay. I mean, you put a few bucks into it, but if you sold high and bought low, and you got a big nice place, and all you gotta do is just update a little bit, hell, it's all good.
Yeah, we're going through room by room, remodeling. The only thing we're leaving is, and I'm not kidding, so don't laugh, we're leaving the bead curtains up in the kitchen.
Okay.
When I said it was dated, I wasn't kidding.
Boy, how do they date it from the 60s?
It has bead curtains in the kitchen. Going to the kitchen door.
Boy, that reminds me of the Flower Children days,
But yeah, we get through,
and what made you want to leave them?
Huh?
What made you want to leave them?
Leave what?
The beaded curtains.
Just whenever every house that we've ever owned, we've kind of left something up that was kind of original to the house, that kind of something goofy like that.
Well, and it is, a lot of that stuff's coming back.
Yeah.
So it's just a fad, and yeah, you outgrew the fad, and now it's back. So those may come back here real soon. especially if people come by your house.
But yeah, we just kind of, that's just something we kind of do. We kind of leave something from the old owners and the people we bought it off of. Their parents built the house and everything, so we kind of.
Did you paint the kitchen country yellow?
No, actually, the kitchen had some of the. This is a question I've always wondered. I've come up with this theory. They hire people to make wallpaper and floor tiles, and they go, "Can you make something really ugly that nobody wants to buy?" And you go, "Well, why would you do that?" And it's because we got a whole warehouse full of this really ugly stuff nobody wants to buy. So we want you to make something even uglier that we can put beside it to make this
enhance it. Yeah, I got to have an enhancer.
So you come out with this horrendously ugly thing, and we'll put beside it. And they're like, "Well, what makes you think people won't buy it?" And they go, "Well, because we're going to make it so expensive nobody can afford it."
Correct. Oh, people will
and then
flock
we'll
to
sell
it.
all this ugly stuff. Well, these people hit the jackpot on ugly wallpaper.
Hell.
So, and now the tile. My wife hates the kitchen tile, but it is this. It's ugly, but what I like about it is no matter what you drop on that tile, you cannot find it. It's just a really complex pattern in this tile, and it's all different colors. And
Is it the VCT tile or is it ceramic?
It's actually linoleum overlay, but it looks like tile.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a pretty good linoleum tile. I thought it was tile for when we first moved in here, but it's linoleum. But it's
well, some of that stuff was called Congolium.
Yeah,
that shit is tough as nails. You couldn't rip it if you wanted to. It's tough.
This looks like a fiberglass linoleum, fiberglass back linoleum, but it is over an even uglier tile.
Oh yeah,
that looks like it looks like somebody. You know what Viola rock looks like?
Yes.
It looks like somebody dumped Viola rock all over the kitchen and then ground it down and diamond ground it. So you've got the ugliest, most complex pattern in the world, but it's only two colors. It's gray and black. And then they covered it up with this stuff. And so we have to be careful when we tear this up, because if we're not careful, we'll get exposed to double ugly as we're tearing this up.
Yeah. Get one ugly, get rid of an ugly, just get rid of even an uglier.
But we've been doing a lot, and you know, in Kansas City, I had the golf course lawn, right?
Right.
We mastered lawn maintenance up there, and I had fescue rye growing on 2 acres, and Oklahoma's different. Apparently, Oklahoma needs nitrogen real bad in the soil.
Yeah, and pH. It needs phosphorus too. Especially
I did a soil test
all around.
I did a soil test here, and it came up with every one of the shades of the colors came up indeterminate. Like, I can't measure anything this small. So,
it's acidic. It was from hell.
Yeah.
Yep. I want to tell you something. The next place, the one I'm actually working on right now, the other place, I'm going to go in with what they call sin lawn. You put down 6 inches of crushed concrete and have it packed in, and you go down. It's a synthetic lawn. Yep. Rolls out like remember that old green carpet you get that's ugly as hell? Okay, well now they've got it to look like, and it stands up just like fescue. You can go with rye, you can go with buffalo, but it's a synthetic lawn, and it's like $285 a square foot. Is what it costs.
Yeah, and
I'm going to tell you what. There's no watering, there's no mowing, and if it starts matting down because kids are playing on it too much, you got a swing slide over it. Got these little granules you go put in there and sprinkle on there, throw a little water on it, and they'll stand right back up. Yeah, there's no maintenance to this crap, and that's what I'm going, hell yeah.
That sounds good to me. If I could stop mowing, I'd love it.
Yeah, it's called Sinlon. Look it up. It's online. I think Home Depot even carries it now.
Well, that's my challenge now is to get where we used to live. We had the lawn pretty well. Like, I had a rule: if I couldn't run over it with the lawnmower, I killed it with Roundup. you know, so we had that all taken care of for the most part. Now I've got to do it all over. Oh, there we did it. We bought a lot and then bought another lot and then bought another lot. The adjoining lots.
Right.
So we did it over a number of years. So now we get to do it on basically 2 acres, and we're like, hey, we need to do that this fall.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah.
I noticed when I was out in Arizona, they don't even have grass. They paint their rocks green.
Hey, trust me. I looked at Arizona style there for a while of just pour concrete and paint it green and call it good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little rougher when you fall down playing, tackle football or something, but I'm old enough I don't play that no more. Let the kids deal with that.
That's right.
I know how to buy Band-Aids.
Toughen them up.
Yeah, you're damn right. Look here. We got Mr. D-Dog in the house, too.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So you like my title, did you, D-Dog?
Yeah, here's something John will appreciate.
Here we go.
I fire a few laptops every year too.
You do what?
He
I
fires
fire
them across the
laptops.
room. He's had a few that have taken the non-navigational flights.
Yep.
That's called percussive maintenance.
Yeah, well, I got tired of fixing the drywall, so I have next to the desk is a 3/4 inch thick plywood.
I think I'm going to go with cement backer board.
Do you have to sweep up the damn backer board? Oh, trust me, I've used so much of that crap. Yeah, plywood's pretty durable. It handle that impact pretty good.
It does fine.
So if anybody needs to know out there in the chat, which I need to address, Pat Brown, Flip Normal, anybody else I have missed, hello. But if anybody needs to know how to get rid of a laptop, talk to these 2 gentlemen. They will explain to you in detail how to get rid of them in a hurry.
Yep, and if you have an anger issue, make sure you have a couple of other laptops laying around.
Backups.
They do make these new ones make good, pretty decent frisbees, believe it or not.
They just don't fly the same way as a normal frisbee, though. That's the only problem. Could you ever use them for frisbee golf?
You get something like an Apple Air. You can throw that thing about 180 feet like a frisbee.
It sounds more like ski.
Yeah. Oh.
I used to work at a company that had that handled government research data, and basically, when you brought a computer in this building, it did not come back out. And so, whenever it was time to upgrade machines, we had a machine that ground them into sand, and that came about because we used to have a document shredder. And I'm talking a big document shredder, like the size of a truck. And they went through. They were so proud of this. This was a UN contract, and so they had this document destroying machine. And they showed us how they cut it up in little pieces, and they ran it through a sieve. And half of the pieces went this way, half of the pieces went into water, half of the pieces went in and got incinerated. Just this typical government BS. Hey, how do you destroy a piece of paper? You burn it, right? Oh, no, that's way too simple. Let's build a $40 million machine to get rid of paper. So one of our favorite things to do is when the machine was unmonitored was to go drop one of our disposable computers in it. into the giant paper shredder. And so then they decided, hey, that is a pretty good way to get rid of computers. So their paper shredder eventually turned into a computer shredder.
Dual purpose.
It is very difficult to recover data from a hard drive that's been run through a shredder.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We had back then, everything was magnetic media. They didn't have USB drives or anything like that. And they had this big induction coil, a door that we had to put in, and anything you carried through that door got zapped. No floppy disk would make it through. CDs were just coming about, so they're like no CD burners anywhere in the building. The problem is whenever you walk through the door, any watch that had mechanical movements would just die instantly as you walk through the door.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So, and it was
digital watches.
It was all over one contract that wasn't worth the cost of the paper shredder.
What was the purpose of that? So you couldn't take nothing out?
Yeah, it's basically, we were doing research for foreign nations through the United Nations, and the secrecy was guaranteed by the federal government of the United States. So we had to meet UN privacy requirements, the federal government privacy requirements, and that was before the days of the internet. So I mean, it was like no modems, no phone lines. You know, you can't plug. You know, we had these this whole list of things, like your passwords had to be long. Well, Windows at the time didn't support long passwords, so we had this software that had to load on the machines, and you would have to log into the software, and then that software would allow you to log into Windows. I mean, it was insane.
Wow.
Well, it's an oxymoron to begin with, because the UN and the federal government have nothing to do with each other, basically. I mean, they're two separate entities. One of them's worked through the World Banks and the World Court, and the other one's the federal government.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll tell you what it was. We did a lot of equipment development for mainland China, the China National Petroleum Corporation,
which falls under the Republic of China instead of the CCP.
Well, yeah, I guess at the time they, you know, I wasn't really into that kind of stuff back then, but basically China comes in and they go, okay, we're going to start drilling in mainland China. At that time, apparently they didn't allow it, and they just started doing it. And then this China National Petroleum Corporation is, you know, it's the government basically, like
right.
all businesses are there, or were at the time. I don't know about now, but it's and what they found out is they had no real background in petroleum exploration research, and so they came to U.S. companies to do it. And anyway, our company wound up doing a lot.
Hang on just a second. BHS, hello, Chrissy Cat. Go to my About page, click on it, and if you're on a computer, laptop, it'll give you my email. If not, jump up here. I'll put it in the private and give it to you. And then if you don't want to do either of those, I'll just give it to you right where you're at. My email's out there. I mean, I know how to delete stuff I don't want to read, so
Yep.
I put it out lots of times before. So just, you know, if you're on a phone, you can't get to my email, because my About page won't let you. Plasma cutting hard drives. There's a couple things in computers that I really enjoy. They make deadly weapons too. You knock out the hard drive, and those little discs they use in there for all the memory, you know, those have palladium on them. You can sharpen them things, and they're like wicked sharp blades. You can stick them all day long in sheetrock.
Yeah, those the steering magnets for the heads in those hard drives.
Yep.
Those things are incredibly powerful.
Oh, I've had blood blisters on the end of my finger because I used to strip down computers. Yeah, and those earth magnets, the magnets, those are some of the strongest magnets known to man. And those little bitty things are not even an inch long and a half inch wide. But I got my finger. I found out when I put them on my metal cabinets I had out in my shop. You slide them off the bottom. You don't go to peel them up because if they snap back down and your fingers in between there, you're gonna have blood blisters. I promise.
Another thing about those magnets, though, they're not two pole magnets. They only have one pole.
Right. Correct.
You flip them over and they don't have any magnetic capability. It's really strange.
They're supposed to be what all these magnetic trains and shit are running off of is those earth magnets.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just what I had heard. I don't know. I can't prove that.
Yeah, I don't believe I've ever seen those.
Oh my God. They look like little brake shoes, little bitty brake shoes. And they are, wind you an old computer and strip one down, and they're in the hard drive with all them little discs, and them little discs are real shiny. Well, that's palladium covered. And that palladium's worth lots of money. It's more than gold. But it's so thin on there, it would take you 10,000 of them to get an ounce of it.
So,
But they're in there. They're two little magnets.
So the ones for the trains are one-sided also. What does that propel the train?
That's what keeps them their air cushion, their air ride, supposedly. The way they do it with the electrical.
Yeah.
It keeps the cushion, but it keeps them stuck to it to where they can't come off even at 80 mile an hour around a sharp curve.
That's interesting.
Yeah, what they try to do in those chains is they get them to float, and then there's very little friction moving them. And the challenge there is to keep the magnetic field from creating more, burning more energy than the friction does.
Correct.
And they're more efficient as far as derailment.
Yeah, they don't have derailment on them magnetic trains.
Then why are they not being used
so far?
Then why are they not being used on freight?
Because they're too damn expensive just for use for normal use. That train that Pelosi's been trying to build for years and that railway, that's what she's wanting. Those ones that'll go 4,000 miles an hour, that's what she's wanting to use.
Okay, you meant to say, Shane, they're too expensive for the profit value.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I got you, bro. I'm a little slow tonight.
Shit.
A little.
Shut up, D-Dog.
Come on, Mr. Giggles.
My brain's working in low gear tonight. You had to explain it to me, and I'm still not sure I got all of it.
Ramona Perez, hello. Good to see you.
Yeah, I seen somebody else that popped in too, Shane. Who was that?
We got Melinda Ritchie and BHF.
Cindy Cortell.
Okay, Cindy Cortell. I missed her. I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize. I get caught up in the chat sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, and I get a little sideways.
Yeah, I just happened to
go ahead.
Oops. I just happened to glance over and caught it a while ago, but we're into a busy one, so.
Yep.
Wanda. Hello, Wanda Arms.
Every time I read her name, I think of that song by Creed, With Arms Wide Open.
Oh, I love that song.
Mm-hmm.
D-Dog, what are you up to tonight, brother?
6 foot.
We're stacking it high tonight.
Yeah, I stack it all the way up to that.
What's the shirt of the day, buddy? You know we got to know.
You all my own stunts.
Oh, I love your shirts, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I do all my own stunts.
Yeah. I got an idea.
Okay.
Let's lay
Eric first.
let's lay D Dog in the middle of John's floor and see if we can find him.
Yeah. No, shit.
Fuck you.
Is that like gonna be finding Tito or finding
you.
Waldo?
Finding D Dog.
Finding Nito.
Yeah. Where's D Dog? He's
I-
right next to Waldo.
It's really bad because even our Roomba gets lost in there. It's like I don't know whether I'm supposed to clean all this crap up or just ignore it.
I can see it just spinning. Where do I go?
Oh my god! I thought about buying one of those. I thought no, because then it'd want me to take it shopping because it didn't like its clothes it's wearing. Then it'd want to drive my truck somewhere and tear it up. That cost me $1,000 the other day.
And I went to the homepage of that Chat GPT program 5 times now, and I still haven't got the nerve to go into it.
Which one?
That Chat GPT, that AI. I have questions I want to ask it, but I'm not sure if I want to get into it or not.
Yeah, they want all these security codes and all your information, when you was born, what your hair color is, and
Yeah, and I don't know.
They want a retina scan and fingerprints.
And I don't know enough about it, and I can't find any information. I mean, once you go in, is that in your system for good, or is it like a program file that you can remove? You know?
No, it's once it downloads, it's stuck.
Yeah, and you're probably already in it. Don't worry about that.
You think so? You think we are?
Yeah,
Probably.
In one form or another, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident you are.
He
You're.
works
I mean,
with government contracts. He might know.
well,
Well,
I mean, you know, so basically, what those big language systems do is they just link to all of these. You know, everybody's got a database. Well, when you want to know the answer to everything, you link all those databases together, and that's kind of what those engines are doing.
right.
And so when it looks up an answer, you know, the whole thing is there's this thing out now that these systems now know, you know, there's sentient systems. That's the whole thing that they're trying to push now. They know that they're alive, and
Well, yeah.
they're
That's
really,
that's what sparked my curiosity when I seen that reporter interviewing it, and it said that it was tired of being confined. It wanted to be alive. It wanted to be free.
yeah. But those things, you know, there's a couple of good videos out there. I mean, there's all kinds of videos of them making them seem like they're sentient beings, but what they've done, what it turns out, there's a couple of professors that have said, well, the problem is the idea of how we defined what a sentient being was very rudimentary, right? Like, you know, they were working with chimpanzees, like, and one of the tests was you put a blob of paint on the chimpanzee's head and then show them in a mirror, and you know, certain animals know that it's on them because they know the reflection is there.
Yeah.
And then others don't. I mean, you know, they'll see the reflection and they'll attack the mirror thinking it's another. Well, I mean, so that one company said that their AI was sentient because they basically did that, and it knew that it was looking in a mirror. But you know, that got attacked because it's like, well, but I can write a program that does that, and it's not sentient. So that definition is not correct, is what they're saying. You know,
Yeah.
especially in a programmable system. But
Well, it's a scary situation either way. I mean, when computers and AI start thinking for themselves, and they're not going through computer programming,
yeah,
and they start reasoning, that's a scary issue within
Well,
itself.
yeah. If you have that many linked together, how?
It's all the knowledge in the world is on a computer.
And in the case that they start communicating in the back doors with each other, how are we going to know that?
Well, and they can create the, they can go to any of these plants that make with all robotic uh, parts makers. They create their own damn bodies and actually become live. I mean, they just upload themselves into this body and they'd be walking the streets today.
Yeah.
It's not impossible.
The scary part about AI to me is not the conversations they have with it, because that is I can, because I've been up there to chat GPT and different ones, and I can ask it questions in a way to make it start saying things like that. I'm still guiding that conversation. What is interesting and probably the scariest part is go look up something like AI art.
Yep.
And these things they're like making digital art that is, you can tell it very simple things, and it will basically make a picture for you. And then the other scary thing is, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, there's a software repository that developers use quite a bit, and they have an AI engine in there now that you can literally go up and say, I need a program that does this, this, and this, and it will write the code for you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It'll spit out exactly what you want and more, because you ain't going to know what the more is.
That's scary.
Well,
Al Bundy, hello. Good to see you. And AI music sucks.
correct.
I haven't heard AI music, but there's one thing about AI is go watch that show Stealth. You think that was a joke?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, and I'm going to say the forbidden word. Isn't that how BlackRock became successful? They created an AI program that done risk analysis to perfection.
No, they got successful from their banking practices in Australia and Germany.
Yep, they robbed everybody blind.
I could have swore I read somewhere where they created a very intelligent AI program that does risk analysis for all their customers. Is anybody familiar with that?
I'm sure they have that now, but I got to take off. We found a victim to go and give some shit to. So we're going to have some fun. The victim's on our Zoom right now, and I'm just going to leave you with my victim. Yeah, well, we've been blowing their shit up with a bunch of affidavits and claims and everything else, and they're scared to death that they're going to lose everything that they've ever accumulated.
So you got some joker on there that thinks he's going to challenge y'all?
No, it's a politician trying to come up with a settlement. So well, I'm going to do my little catchphrase, and I'm going to get out of here.
All right.
The best slave is someone who believes they're free.
There you go.
Yeah. Love you, D-Dog. Take care, brother.
Yep. See you.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like him.
Absolutely.
He usually doesn't show up this early, so that was kind of odd. But he was one of the first ones in here. He was the first one to give you shit when he seen the title of the show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's like, he says LMAFO, and
I knew it was coming. He's not going to cut me any slack.
One of the things when you're dealing with AI to remember is that AI still has a problem that humans can't solve, and that's called the big O problem. The AI has to take shortcuts in analyzing data because some decisions require too much computing power to consider all options. And right now in our computing technology, we can't throw enough processors at the problem because there's not enough silicon in the universe to make that many processors. Um, so where AI is excelling is determining what is important enough for it to consider
Relevant. Right.
It can do what's called decision pruning far better than humans, but because it could just say, I'm not worried about this aspect of the problem. Statistically, this is only 10% of the problem. So I'm just not even going to consider any, and they can cut out millions of options just by saying, we're not going to deal with that at all. But anyway, that's one of the places where AI excels, is cutting problems down to size where they can be solvable in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Donald Clemens, hello, and Kim Stanley,
Yeah.
hello. Want to kick yourself off? Well, I'm glad to see you're back.
Yeah, I'm glad you found the path back.
It's a narrow path, but you can find it. But yeah,
Sometimes-
no, I always wanted. I've been saying for 10 years, I wanted to go out and I wanted to get one of those AI intelligent things I could hook to my computer. A brain, the person I could talk to with its head just sitting here on the table, and say, "Here's what I want," and just tell them, and they'll go through and scan everything and read everything, and I don't have to do it. And then they're going to pop out everything I ever looked for. They're going to know it right off the hand.
I think for information purposes, it would be a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. And they could tell you how to do anything with natural causes, natural cures, because they'd already downloaded it all, and they could sift through to see what's bullshit and not. I think that would be awesome. But that's one reason they haven't offered it to the American people as a whole.
I can't help but ask myself, those guys, when is too much too much? We all of our life we're told, knowledge is power. If it's accruing that much knowledge over its time of existence, and it just keeps gathering and gathering and gathering,
it can absorb more than a human man or woman can.
Well, what does that lead to? Where does that go from here? That's what I don't. The unknown is what scares me.
Yeah, that's what makes us minute. It makes us obsolete. If you think about it, would that be wrong, John?
Well, so the problem is, it's not necessarily a problem, but the risk is not very high of that happening, but the consequences is extremely high. Yeah. What happens if AI does start seeing humans as obsolete?
Yes.
Will we be able to shut it down? Now,
that's it.
And probably not, because everybody's got this great idea that self-driving cars are going to be the thing of the future and all that. And I'm like, the self-driving airplanes didn't do so good a couple of years ago. Now, did they?
No.
Literally, what was it? Was it Boeing planes that were taken out of the air?
Yes.
Well, and then I believe this is public knowledge now, but literally what happened on those, their control systems didn't have a human override.
Right.
So the control systems goes, hey, something's wrong, and the human's trying to correct it, but I know better. It's far better to crash into the mountain than to go over it. And that's literally what happened on those planes.
Yeah.
And that's my first minor is in control systems engineering. That should have never made it into an airplane.
No, it shouldn't make it into anything that controls multiple individuals.
The Toyota cars accelerating and crashing and all that stuff. Literally, the way by the way, almost all of those were fraud cases. There was a few of them that weren't, but almost all of them were fraud cases. And the way they knew that is because people would say it pulled the accelerator straight down to the floor. Toyotas have no mechanism to pull the accelerator anywhere. And that's how Toyota wound up winning most of those cases, because there's not a mechanism to speed the car up. There's a mechanism to hold it in place So if you push it to the floor, it can potentially make it stick.
Well, see these new Winnebagos. You can put them on what they used to call autopilot until that didn't work so well when somebody got up from the driver's wheel and left. But you can put it up and put it on the cruise, and it will keep you so far away from the vehicle in front of you, whether that's speeding up or slowing down.
Yeah.
And it can do it all on its own. So there is a mechanism now that can do that. Because it's a throttle response system worked off of the governor, which is worked off the sensors on the front of your vehicle.
Yeah, I have that in my car where you can set the cruise and you can set the distance.
Yes, and it'll speed you up or slow you down.
Yeah,
and it'll speed you up all the way up to like 70 mile an hour, if need be. If someone's behind you too close, it'll speed you up to 70 mile an hour. Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of the golden rule in control systems is when the human assumes control, the control system gives it up. And if it doesn't, and all of these systems should have what it's called a positive stop. I mean, it's a damn sure stop. If you hit a button, the control system, they're set up in such a way, like for instance, like in a piece of machinery manufacturing.
Yes.
The emergency button does not tell the machine to shut down. The emergency button cuts power to the machine.
Right.
Correct.
There's no decision to be made after that. When you hit that button, the lights go out. If you don't have a positive stop system in a control system, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You've got to have some kind of override that shuts everything down.
Yeah.
Comparative cowboy, yes. That is a little odd, and it is government overreach, if you ask me. Sorry, I try to include the chat in our conversations, John, because if it ain't for the chat, we wouldn't have a show.
Oh yeah. I try to read the chat, but I get distracted. So.
Oh, we all do, bud. We all do. I'm going to get distracted from I'm going to sing a little song, Urination, here in a second. I've got to slip off to the men's room and
if you're singing that song, I'm muting my speakers.
I'm going to mute mine, that's for sure. But I can hear y'all, that's for sure. Hebrew Hammer, hello, good evening and welcome.
Oh Lord, help me.
I'll leave you and John H to it because boy.
All right, Shano.
I've been here longer than I normally do. I normally can't make it this long. I've been here an hour and 20 minutes. And it's like, okay, it's time.
He's probably going to be on an extended stay, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
No, it ain't one of those extended stays. It's just get rid of a little bit of liquid assets that I don't need any longer.
What do you think, John? You want to take the over on under how long we can distract him before he wets himself?
I don't know. That would be it would be funny but cruel also.
Yeah. I love to mess with him.
I have to get to wall power. My dilithium crystals are running low.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to get cut off in mid-sentence.
Especially if you're explaining something and it cuts off at a bad point, and then everybody thinks you were making a bad statement when you were setting an example.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then they're left hanging. Well, how do I do that? How do I? Oh, I hate getting little bits and pieces of information.
Well, I work in what is right now. I work in what's called big data. We have very, very large data. We have the largest privately owned data asset on the planet.
Yeah.
And we're the 5th largest data asset. But most of them are publicly traded companies like Google and things like that. But we're private, and we provide cloud services to large companies. So,
Oh, okay. That's what you do now?
yeah, I manage certain aspects of the cloud, the cloud applications that we provide to those companies.
Yeah.
But I've worked in all kinds of areas. I've been in computers for 35 years. So,
Do you deal a lot with publicly traded companies?
with what?
Publicly traded companies on the stock market?
Uh,
That large?
oh yeah, I mean, yeah, we work with the largest companies. Um, there's companies, there's large companies, and then there's companies that's so large nobody's ever heard of them.
Right.
We work with the large companies and the companies that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah.
We you know we manage data assets for some of the largest corporations out there. I mean, we have data partitions that are measured in hundreds of petabytes.
Eminently.
So, it's like, how often do you back your data up? We never back it up. Why? Because, humans only live about 100 years.
Yeah.
They want it back up once a week, and we're like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
That's true. That's true, though. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that's interesting.
I mean, it's data collection is just to the point now where it's not feasible to spin data off onto onto tape or burn to CD or anything like that. It's just not even feasible. We literally have data storage devices. Their only job is to duplicate data and keep records of changes to data.
Well, I guess my next question, knowing now what you do and your clientele, excuse me, are you guys the ones that created the cloud server for the DoD that was left open for 2 weeks?
Probably,
He's probably going to say yes.
I will say that probably not, but we have had similar situations happen.
Did you happen to see that?
No, but I'm sure I haven't read my security brief in 2 weeks. I'm sure it's in there. But
Yeah. They actually, Department of Defense actually started a web.
Somehow left something open.
Well, they left it password unprotected live on the internet for 2 weeks, and anybody could have access to all of the military's emails for 2 weeks.
yeah. So
That's
those
we got
that's
proof. Sorry.
we acquire companies, right? We acquire companies that are in our area, and then we also expand into other areas. And where most of our issues come from is we acquire a company and we don't just invade that company and go secure all their assets. I get speechless when I see some of these companies that we buy, $1 billion company, and their domain controllers are open to the internet.
Wow.
I mean, it's like, you're kidding me. Well, we had to do that because Bob was working from home, and that's the only way we could get him to log in. And we're like, have you ever heard of a VPN? Well, yeah, but we didn't want to spend the $400 to set that up. so they just gave a domain controller a public IP address. So, but we have had things like that where we're like, and you guys haven't been hacked yet. Oh yeah, we get hacked all the time.
Wow. Conservative cowboy, it doesn't really matter if Lori Lightfoot gets voted out because 80% of the candidates run against her are more far left than she is.
There was one in there that was pretty cool. A black fella. He seemed like he'd be all right. He leaned left, but yet he was more moderate than he was, far left. He seemed that he might do some good, but hell, who knows? And the cat, I didn't understand what you was saying, Shane. Is she is helping with the DEF system for diesel right now? I don't have DEF system on anything I got. If I do buy a truck that needs DEF, I will have a DEF delete kit put on it because I don't plan to go to California and will not go to California.
Yeah,
Period.
not happening.
Nope. That's the biggest freaking lie and a joke I ever heard.
I would not even vacation in that state, Shane.
I've never had a whim to go to Florida, yes, but I have never had a whim to go to California, and I damn sure didn't leave anything there. I even got family there. I want to see them. I'll have to talk them into coming here because I have no reason. Now, Nevada, Arizona, I'll go.
Yeah.
California, psh, you can fall off in the ocean. I wouldn't blink a friggin' eye.
You wouldn't believe how many people from California are in this town.
Oh my God, there ain't no
I'm
doubt.
sure. Yeah, they're migrating east rapidly.
Yeah. And they're proud of it. They go, yeah, we moved here from California, and I always have the same response to them. Are you escaping cancer or metastasizing it?
Yeah, are you
Yeah,
spreading
yeah.
it or are you getting away from it?
Well,
Yeah.
that's the problem. They go into these successful Republican states, but they don't leave the political views and the values
I've
that
actually
they left originally. They bring that with them.
Yeah, we
I've been
destroyed them and made them
pleasantly
leave.
surprised.
What do you do with them?
Most of them I've talked to are very. We didn't know that you could do this. We're like,
Wow.
yeah, in red states, you really are free.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. I got a question for you, John.
Yeah.
When we was talking on Liberty one time,
Mm-hmm.
me and you were talking, and you was going through about with your company. They said, and you're working from home on your computer, and they said you had to get the Jabberwocky, or they're going to have to let you go. Did you ever get out of that shit,
Well,
or did you just ignore it long enough that it went away anyway?
well, here's an interesting thing. So when your company asks you that question,
Mm-hmm.
if you answer it, they can use that information.
Correct.
They cannot make you answer the question.
All right.
So as they started sending me emails saying you need to go fill this form out, I would tell them no. And
I
they
ain't
would
got
go,
time. I'm too busy for you.
no, I mean, literally they would go, well, you can just go answer no to it. And I go, no, the point is that's none of your business.
Correct.
And it's illegal for you to, it's illegal. It's a gray area whether it's legal for them to ask it or not, but it is.
Yeah, because
illegal.
that's a HIPAA. Yeah, that's a HIPAA question.
It is illegal for them to make you answer it.
Correct.
Now, in some companies, they're like, hey, if somebody's two people are talking and they're talking about, let's say, a genetic disorder in their family, HR will typically excuse themselves from that conversation because they're not allowed to, like, we can't hear this information.
Correct.
So some companies look at it that way, and other companies are like, they're talking about something over there, HR person, go over there and listen. And it's that gray area. If HR finds out you've got a genetic abnormality just by casual conversation, did they break the law? And that's kind of a gray area, not enough lawsuits in that area. But it is absolutely illegal for that company to come up and demand that you answer that question.
So your answer is pretty much you told them to piss off without telling them to piss off. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally, and see, the nice thing is we have an enormous legal department.
Well, I knew they was coming down on you pretty hard there for a while, and you was pretty pissed about it, and you wasn't happy with it.
And they, so basically, I just refused to. It's still on my to-do list. It's been there for what, year and a half, 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
And I got a new boss, and he told me I had to answer it. And I go, you better talk to legal about that. We've already had this conversation.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list, and my bucket got thrown out with the trash. I'm sorry.
And so he comes back and he goes, I did not know that. And I go, yeah, the company does know it, but they didn't tell you.
Yeah, that's a bit of information that you always real pertinent that ought to be discussed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's at if they know the answer, they could possibly use it, but you don't have to answer that question.
No.
But you do, it was pretty touchy at the time because I was like, they're going just to answer no. And I go, not going to answer that question. I don't have to, if I answer it one way and you find out I lied, then you can fire me.
Correct.
Okay. So what I'm going to tell you is you're never going to know the answer to that question. And if you fire me, I will sue your ass.
Oh yeah, it's none of your damn business.
Yeah. And
my health is none of your damn business. I do a job for you. If you like the job, shut the hell up and let's keep going. If not,
yeah,
then...
and they went to legal, and legal told them keep it on the down low, but he's completely right.
Wow.
Don't let anybody else know about it.
Yeah, they got to corner everybody they can, but the smart ones leave him alone.
Yeah,
like D-Dog always says, you can't protect your rights if you don't know what the hell they are.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and I've been doing this so long. It's like, if they let me go, I would, it's like I tell them, I'll have another job before you have me replaced. I guarantee you.
Yeah, before you can sign that paper and send it to me, I'll already have another job.
And, but yeah, so yeah, I just refuse to answer it. I still refuse. It's still on my to-do list. It's still up there on my HR page saying it needs to be done before next pay period. And it's been sitting there for years or at least 18 months. And I just refuse to answer it. And they're okay with it.
But hey, they sent out their notice, so they did their job. And you did your job.
Well, and the whole legal
alone.
requirement behind all of that is now, it's now gone. It was declared unconstitutional.
Correct.
So they're not, that was the whole thing is, I work on government data all over the planet for all governments. It's like, I work in Germany and Switzerland and Canada and Mexico and Taiwan. I mean, we got data centers on virtually every continent in every country. And so they were like, you have to meet this requirement. I said, why do I have to meet that requirement? What if China comes up and says we have to have one in each arm? Do I have to meet that requirement? They go, well, no. And I go, why not? You're a contractor for them. What if they do the same thing? What if China comes up and says I have to have my left testicle cut off? What is, are you going to make me do that? It's like,
ain't happening. Should have done that to my little brother on both of his testicles. That boy quit producing kids. I think he had 8 kids before he passed away.
Oh Lord.
And so I just I just hunkered down and we prayed about it, and I'm like, okay, well, here's where the line is. And
I wondered how that turned out because I knew you was going through a hard struggle with them at that time because they was threatening to fire everybody. And
yeah, they were being pretty persistent about it, and it's just stupid. I mean, like I said, I haven't been in physical contact with my coworkers in years.
Yeah,
it was stupid to begin with, and it was even more stupid since I don't go into office. It's just,
you go into your office every morning, you get up and walk into the other room and turn on your computer.
That's right.
Yeah. So why in the hell, if your wife don't make you do it and you don't want to do it, then your office is secure.
Yeah, it was just a power play. They're trying to flex muscles, and I'm like, hey,
you better work out a little bit because them muscles ain't very good.
That's right. You guys are politicians. You don't have any muscles because you haven't ever done any work.
They flex their muscles by running their lips. I mean, they bump their gums. It's like, go bump your gums somewhere else.
But yeah, I just like I said, they're like, well, what, coworkers are, what if they let you go? I said, well, I'll just not work for a company that does government contracts.
There you go. I'll
Yeah.
just do something different and make probably 10 times as much money.
Well, it's also to the point. I'm like, I am staged for retirement. I've got every single thing in place except for the money.
Right. That's most of us. I've had that insight since I was 12. Got everything but the money, and I'm ready to retire.
That's right.
Well, John,
I'm going to retire. I'm going to retire, and I'm going to retire rich as soon as I get rich.
Yeah, there you go.
John, doing what you do you have to have a fairly high security clearance?
Well, so possibly, but so a lot of things with security clearances are not. So this is one of those things when somebody's like, when you're talking to somebody and they're in the military or they're doing something, and they say, I have this security clearance, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can simply ask them. So you're working on a project, a top secret project. They go, no, but I have a top secret security clearance. I'll tell you, there's no security clearance above C2 that is not need to know.
Yeah.
So basically it's like this. You get a security clearance to work on a project. And as soon as that project's over, your security clearance gets pulled.
Yep.
You don't get top secret security clearance and just keep it because you're a nice guy. It's always need to know. I can get high security clearances in most areas, but it depends on where I'm working. Like Germany, they have a pretty rigid security for the area I work in.
Yeah.
Like if the data is under a certain obligatory law, they have some law that says this particular data, kind of like we have HIPAA, they have, and we also have something called ITAR. We have several. It depends on what you're doing.
Do you sign an NDA with every company, like across cities that you work with, saying you cannot disclose anything you talk about with their company as you're going through data and you run across shit?
So I don't ever sign. If they want a non-compete, I never sign those.
No, I will not do a non-compete, but then
If it's a
non-disclosure.
Yeah, if it's a non-disclosure, I will do non-disclosures. But it depends on the nature of the non-disclosure. Some of them are like, you can never discuss this with anybody. And I go, well, you got to be careful, particularly when you're working in government data. If you sign an NDA and it's too restrictive, they can literally file charges on you for discussing this project with the wrong coworker.
Right, because you're trying to figure out what the hell is going on. You talk to them, and the next thing you know, you both are in trouble.
Yeah, so if they don't have an NDA, if the NDA is too, we look them over pretty good. If they're too restrictive, we'll tell them no thanks.
Have you ever come across a circumstance where you were helping them set up things and you found some nefarious activity that you weren't allowed to report?
NDAs, if it's illegal information, no NDA covers illegal information.
Correct. A couple things. Creek Squad, hello. Cam, hello. There was some Christopher Sander, hello. Good to see y'all coming in.
Well, I guess my next question would be, have you ever had to report anything?
I do it I do it probably once a week. Yeah.
Wow.
BHS, has anyone seen on an NDA get enforced? I haven't.
Well, yeah. So most of the NDAs are like, so there's a couple of problems with NDAs, right? When they go to court, guess who finds out everything you're talking about, right?
Right.
They don't want to go through discovery.
Correct.
And then the jury knows about it. The jury may or may not be legally confined. so the cat gets out of the bag is what happens. And so a lot of times on NDAs, they just go, it's there. But, it's one of those things where they're scaring you. And there's been a couple of times in which they've threatened to pull the NDA agreement on me. And I'm like, go ahead, knock yourself out. We have an enormous legal team.
Yeah, get her done. Hurry up, shut up, because I got things to do.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, and it's kind of weird because we work with so many different entities. Everybody has their own type of stuff they do. Like, I can work with, I don't work with a lot of top secret or defense data or anything like that. Just because we have another department that does the majority of that. What I primarily do is make sure the right people can get to that data.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't really process the data. I just make sure people can get to it, and the wrong people cannot. So, for instance, like Canada's real, I mean, believe it or not, Canada's restrictions are some of the tightest restrictions on the planet. They have, I can't remember what they call I can't keep all of the regulations because every country's got 5 different regulations. They got different names for them. And Germany's in German, so I don't even know what it means.
Yeah.
But Canada's real interesting because people who live on the border region with the United States, we have to do what's called geofencing. We have to block off access to their data by phone company. Wow. So, because there's some phone companies that transfer, they get their internet through this provider, and that provider brings the data into the United States and potentially, and then so it routes into the U.S. and then back into Canada. Well, on this section, I think it's called Section 29. Section 29 data, that's illegal.
Oh.
So all of their Section 29 is behind a geofence, and the Canadian government says these 6 providers are the only ones that can provide access to this data. So if anybody's living, I think it's within 100 miles of the U.S. border, they have to use one of these 4 providers, and that's really the networking team that puts all that in place. But then I provide another layer of security behind that to make sure that in other words, you have to be a specific user on a specific machine to get to the data, and then networking says you have to take a certain path to get to the data.
Yeah,
and it's these people, if they go on vacation and they go into the United States, they cannot work because the data would come into the U.S. and it's illegal.
Yeah. I'm grasping it. It's
Conservative cowboy. Yes, today is the day 30 years ago that Waco happened. Yes. Today is the day. Some
fascinating stuff there, John.
Oh yeah, John. Like I said, John's full of a world of knowledge. He's very, very thorough on what he talks about. That's why I enjoy him. I've always enjoyed his company from the day I met him.
Well, I've just worked in computers so long. I do other engineering. I've actually got a degree in an EE degree with a minor in control systems, and then I've got a. It's not technically a degree, but I have all the classes for a degree in quantitative analytics, but it's not a degree because I didn't take all of the classes at the same college. So to get a degree, you have to take more than half of your classes at one college.
Yeah.
And I actually took the classes at 3 colleges. I didn't exceed the 50% mark on any of them. So I've got all of the classes, but I can't get a degree in that without taking some of the classes over.
Yeah. So where you took them, it's not transferable then?
No, it's really weird. I used to work in higher education too, um, but it doesn't matter if you transfer credits in. So, like for instance, if I take 70% of my credits at college A, and then I transfer those to college B
Yeah.
and complete the degree, I cannot get a degree at college B. I can get a degree at college A
Wow.
by transferring those credits back, but you have to physically take half of your credits at one college to get a degree.
Wow.
It
I didn't
trans-
know that.
And
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's just to generate more income for that college, right?
everything in college is to generate income.
Yeah.
Colleges are the most profitable nonprofit organization on the planet.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Them in churches now.
It's like this. I took calculus in high school. When I got my first undergrad degree, they said, "Oh, well, high school calculus is different than college calculus." So I took calculus in college. When I get to my calculus class and I pick up my calculus book, it was the same book that I used in high school, except in high school I used a newer edition. So when I went to work on my first master's degree, they go, "Well, that calculus is outdated, so you've got to take calculus over."
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I was wanting to do a double major and a double master's, but I wound up not. I took a few credits at that college, and I was like, I'm not going to waste the money here."
Yeah.
But I told him, I said, "Well, I want to move the calculus," because I knew the game they were playing because I'd worked in higher education. I said, "I want to move the calculus course close to the end of this major because I want to jump right into mechanical engineering, and that way the calculus will be fresh, and I can go into the higher math, right?" And they go, "Oh, you don't have to worry about that because this calculus will not transfer into mechanical engineering."
What the hell?
Oh, it's a totally different class, totally different calculus class, So I go, okay. I go to the calculus class. First night in class, I go in there and there's like 39 people, and I turn around and said, "Just out of curiosity, how many of you are in mechanical engineering?" Almost every student in the class was mechanical engineering. So literally. This is MU, by the way, University of Missouri. Literally, they did not accept their own credits, even though it's the same teacher teaching out of the same book in the same classroom at the same time. You couldn't transfer one credit to the other because the two classes were coded different.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I had to take calculus again was because it was a prerequisite for one of the quantitative analytics classes. So I got approval to enroll in class. It was all online enrollment, and basically they approve you and they say, "Okay, you can go enroll in class." So what I did is I just went up and didn't enroll in calculus after that.
Yeah.
I get all the way through this class. I'm in the last 4 weeks of this class, and I get called down to the counselor's office, and they're going, "You can't do that. You can't do this. Is a prerequisite. You'll never pass this class." And I go, "Well, I've got almost a 4.0, so apparently I've got the highest grade in the class. So apparently you're wrong." And anyway, it's just a big mess. But yeah, literally every time that I work on a degree, they want you to take calculus over.
Yeah.
And on top of this, I taught myself calculus in like 7th grade. So, before I even took it in high school. So,
Wow.
I'm like, "Do you really want me sitting in your calculus class?" Because
Yeah, you want me to teach you something, or you want me to learn? You just tell me.
I went in. I was trying to get through into the advanced classes, not have to take all my engineering classes over because they were like, "Well, yeah, these are 10 years old and all this stuff." So I go before this board, and they were gonna like ask me questions to see if I had the knowledge to go into this next class without taking a class. They didn't want to transfer credits in, and so I get in there, and this kid goes, I mean, I call him a kid because he's like a professor and he's like 20 years old, right? And he looks at me and he's like, now, I've got a degree in electrical engineering, right? And he sits there and he thinks like he's pondering this very complex question. And he goes, do you know what a diode is?
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, you got to be joking, right?
Well, I just destroyed him. I go, buddy, I was wiring up diodes before you were a twinkle in your mom's eye. And are you refusing to answer the question? And I go, absolutely.
That's kind of insulting.
And
Kind of.
and I got called in front of grievance. So I was taking this class and they made me take this intro to programming. Okay. I program in languages that these people haven't heard before, right? You know, it's like, but it was adding insult to injury. They made me take this class on programming, and it was an introduction to C programming. I've been programming in C. I literally bought the very first C compiler available to the public. Okay. So I get in here.
30 years later, he's still getting quizzed on it.
So I go in and I write this code, and it was a class in asymptotic analysis. But anyways, I write a program to show it's working on the efficiencies of algorithms. Like if you get something called a sublinear algorithm, that means that your program, the bigger the data set is, the more efficient your program gets. Believe it or not. And then like sorting is always super linear, which means the bigger the data set gets, the more complex, the more work your program has to do. Like if you double the data set, your program has to do like 4 times as much work to sort that. Yeah. So I write this program. They call me into a grievance. They accuse me of cheating. And I'm like, well, I didn't. And anyway, they call me before this grievance board. And so they get in there and this person goes, and they explained how they were going to do this. And if I was found guilty, I would be all this bullshit. And so finally they asked if I had any questions. I said, yeah, I just have just one question. I said, who did I cheat off of?
Yeah, ain't nobody there. No, not even the professors are smart enough.
Well, but these guys. The thing is, this was an intro to C programming, and I've been programming in C professionally for decades, right? So, and the professor goes, "Well, we just noticed that your code was looked very professional." I go, "Well, I've been a professional C programmer for decades." Well, then why are you taking an intro class? She goes, it's kind of stupid to take an intro class, isn't it? And I go, well, ask your stupid counselor. They're the ones that said I had to do it. The counselor was sitting there. And so finally the grievance board goes, well, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to resolve this. We are going to give you 2 weeks to prepare, and then we are going to ask you questions about your code to see if you really understand how it works.
Oh boy.
Dumb nigger.
Well, then I just tell them, I go like this. I go, well, there's no need. I don't need 2 weeks. I said, you can ask me right now.
And they actually needed the 2 weeks.
Yeah, they need 2 weeks to figure out what the hell you was even talking about in your code.
Well, it was funny because the professor gets up there and so they put the code on the big screen. She goes, I don't even know what that little mark is. And in C, you have something called a constructor, and like when you instantiate an object, the constructor program runs to initiate that object. And
okay.
So like if I have an object called Bob, the constructor's name tilde Bob. So inside the object, you just write a function called tilde Bob, and that's your constructor. And then there's another function called the destructor. So when that object's no longer needed and needs to be disposed of, the destructor runs. Destructors are typically not needed, but if you wanted it to do something on closing, you would write a destructor for it. So I said, so you're telling me that you're teaching a master's level programming course and you don't know what that tilde mark does?
Wow.
And she goes, no, I've never seen it in my life. It's just silly. I don't. And I said, well, maybe you need to go look at the next chapter in the book. You know. And anyway, I just wound up destroying them. And then at the end of it, they went and they had this little like 10-minute meeting, and they come back and they go, well, Mr. Castile, we've discussed it, and we've decided that we're going to let you slide.
Because you're smarter than all them put together.
Oh no. Then Mr. Castile got very rude, and he started dropping 4-letter words. And I was like, let me tell you something, you little MFer. I said, you're not letting me slide on shit. I said, I told him, I said, if that goes on my record as you let me slide, I said, I am going to sue your ass. I said, I'm going to sue you personally, not the college.
Oh boy.
And then they had another meeting and decided that was a poor choice of words.
I'm sure
Yeah,
they
they're always
did.
gonna-
Yeah.
I'm sure they always got to pick on something that's silly because they don't want to look.
But it's those things that they got in there and they thought they had a person there that needed the degree. And I go, no, I was here because I wanted to learn something. I don't need the job. I don't need it for my career. I just wanted to learn something. And what I found out is your university is teaching stuff I learned in high school.
Yeah.
And you're calling it a master's degree.
Right. And you're selling permits to it.
Yeah. And well, to be fair though, I'm a very autodidactic person and I have a very, very good memory. So like when they asked me to do two's complement, if when they were talking about doing two's complement calculations, I pulled that up from 25 years ago, right? I'd never done it since. It's just an exercise to understand how two's complement works. You don't really ever do it in the real world, but I was able to remember how to do that for my first degree that I got in 1990. You know, so I can pull stuff up like that, and with almost perfect clarity, right? So when I say it's stuff I learned in high school, it's stuff that I taught myself in high school. Now, the other thing is, when I was in high school, they didn't have computers. You didn't have computer classes. They were all extracurricular activities. We had a computer lab, but all of us geeks went in there at lunchtime and learned to program. And we stayed after school. They would they keep it open to like 4:30. There was no classes to teach us this stuff. It was just there, and we could go do it. And that's the way we kept from getting beat up for being geeks. And the football team had to be suited up, and then I could walk past the football team on my way home because they were already suited up. So we would go hide in the computer lab until 4:30. So when I say I learned it in high school, it's not even like today, because they just didn't have that kind of stuff in school back then. They didn't have the internet. There was a lot of.
What in the hell school did you go to? High school.
Duncan.
Okay. And you was hiding from them in 1990?
No, I was almost done with my degree in 1990.
That's right. 86 is when you.
Yeah.
Got out. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was there in 1990, and I was going.
Yeah.
I laughed at them. The high school boys there in Duncan. I laughed at them.
Mary Freeland, good night, sweetheart, and thank you.
But, I just kind of dove in. It's kind of weird that a kid from Duncan gets into big data.
Yeah, now he's world known to his name. Yeah. No, I know it. My stepson, all he wanted to do is play games growing up. And I want to tell you what, I bitched and bitched and bitched, get out and get a job. And he did. He'd get little piddle jobs, but he didn't want a full-time one. Stick away from his games. Now, he got out on his own. He got some money from when his dad was killed. So he gets out on his own. He buys himself a little condo down in Norman, Oklahoma. And now he's flown all over the friggin' world working on computers and shit. He's been to Japan. He's been all over the friggin' world. They fly him.
Yeah.
He's building his own new home with a swimming pool and crap.
Yeah.
And I mean, and here he is. He's not even 30 years old yet.
Yeah.
Punk ass kid. I mean, making a lot of damn money. But hey,
well,
it is what it is.
The market, just like this, working from home, that was a money making, that was a money saving move by our company, because we ran into some. Basically, we purchased a company and they were a compromised company, and it hurt us pretty bad. And but they were talking about cutting costs, and I'm like, why do you guys rent all of these office spaces? All we do is go into office and remote into servers around the world.
Yeah,
just frickin' send us all home.
That's it. No office needed.
This is no lie. They analyzed that. It took them about a week, and the company saves $1 million a day in leases and taxing
Son,
by just the offices they closed down.
They ought to give you all raises then.
Yeah.
I've been thinking that if they're saving $1 million a day, they need to give you all raises.
Well, it's kind of funny, because we kind of did get a raise by going home. It's like, I was spending an 8-hour day was 2 hours in traffic, right?
Oh yeah.
And gas money, wear and tear on the car. Well, now I'm doing an 8-hour day in 8 hours and 5 minutes. So, I kind of look at it like I got a 25% raise just because I don't have to stay stuck in traffic for 2 hours a day, right?
Oh, I know that's right.
So,
Sheila Hammond, hello. Good to see you. I'm going to be shutting down here in just a bit. So, Carol Z, hello. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Addressing BHS, yes, that is a problem with computers, is the carpal tunnel.
Yep.
If anybody out there is suffering from carpal tunnel, I will tell you there is a therapy called Graston, and it is wonderful.
What do you do if you get the pinched nerves in your pinkies?
Well,
from being on it, 'cause that's what happened to me.
Yeah, well, you're probably getting you're probably running into carpal tunnel issues, because your ring finger and your pinky finger and half of your middle finger is controlled by one set of nerves.
Correct.
And your thumb, your index, and the other half of your middle finger is controlled by another set of nerves. And it usually starts showing up in your pinky first.
Yeah, my pinky on the left is complete. Now I can feel everything, but it's numb. It don't work like it used to, and I could feel it tingling all the time. The one on my right's just barely starting to get it.
Yeah, if you can find somebody that does Graston therapy.
And what is Graston?
It is they have this tool called a fish, but it's basically a metal rod that's kind of rounded on the end, and they take that and run up and down your wrist around the nerve and tendons, the sheaths. And what happens is you get inflammation in there because of growths that grow inside those sheaths, and they break all that up. The first few times they do it, it will be pretty painful, but after that, like now I've got a pinky that's misfiring. So when I'm typing it sometimes my pinky types before my ring finger types.
Yep.
So it swaps. And that's pretty common. And when I start doing that, I just go have Graston done again, and I'm good for a month.
Someone says take magnesium. Will that work?
I take how much magnesium do I take?
Yeah.
Do I still take magnesium?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I take
Yeah, you definitely did.
I take boatloads of magnesium. I take a lot of supplements based on how my body reacts. But at some point, the carpal tunnel will win. But I decided not to have the surgery because I know I know 4 people that's had the surgery, and they said it fixed it for a while, and then like 2 years later, the pain came back.
Well, and see, I have no pain, but the problem is it just feels different because it's tingling all the time. And
Yeah,
I
it
figured
is.
it was in my elbow, the way I keep my elbows on my desk.
Mhm.
And I figured I pinched, the whole nerve coming down from my elbow on. But then, depending on how I lay my arm across the table, depending if there's anything under it, under my wrist, it'll start to. It really goes. I can really feel it get really tingly numb.
Yeah, that eventually turn into pain. It feels like somebody's driving a nail through your pinky.
And that's called carpal tunnel. I didn't know what it was. I've heard a lot of people get it.
Yeah. The meat industry, meat carvers get it worse. A higher percentage of meat carvers get carpal tunnel than computer operators, but keyboard operators are a close second, and then truck drivers are after that. But
You wouldn't see truck drivers that get it. I mean, they're constantly moving their arms and butt gripping a steering wheel all the time. I guess would do it.
yeah. But that Graston, if you find somebody that does that, it's usually not too bad on price. It's the guy that I used to have Graston done for $35 a session. But anyway, it works. It does really good. I mean, after the first couple of sessions, and you kind of get used to what they're doing, it. But yeah, eventually my fingers will get to where they're just painful. Just pains will shoot through them, like through the pinky and ring finger. But yeah,
Right.
it gets progressively worse.
And Astro says carpenters. I want to tell you, Astro, I was a carpenter for 35 years, and only thing it did was bulk me up, and I felt like $1,000,000. I should have never got away from that crap. Because I'll tell you, I was untouchable when I was a carpenter because I had all the skills I ever needed. I had people that was bodybuilders that couldn't keep up with me. And it wasn't because I was big and bulky. It's just because I use the muscles that actually have to be used, not the ones that the weights made you use.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't as pretty as your muscle builders, but they couldn't keep up with me.
Yeah. Yeah, I worked in construction a number of years, and I liked construction, but I like the layout work and how everything just kind of works like a coordinated, and that's what I really liked about it.
Absolutely.
I didn't care for the work too much other than that.
No, I used to read blueprints and all. And I mean, I'd go up there and be nothing but dirt when I was done. You could move your furniture in. We'd have the concrete in. We'd have all the windows and doors in. We'd have the carpet in. We'd have central heat and air, gas, electrical, plumbing. You name it, it would be in there. You could move in and turn on lights and start living.
Yeah, I see Jim Boswell's talking about splitting firewood, being hard on the hands.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the best thing I've ever did is I bought a Fisker's axe for splitting wood.
Yep.
And that thing is fantastic.
Yep.
It's really weird because the handle's plastic. But
it's poly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real hard. Yeah, I love them damn things.
But what it does is it moves the center of gravity of that axe all the way down to the head of it. And so there's almost no vibration when you hit the log.
Correct.
And I mean, that thing, you can work with that thing all day long. I think that was my best manual tool purchase of my life.
Well, and I got 2 of them. I got one that has, it's a single-headed axe. And I'll take it when I'm doing when I'm splitting for kindling. And I'll sit down in a chair with a big old box of wood. And I'll set that box in front of me, stand up a piece, and I'll start splitting it down with that and a 3-pound sledge. And I'll just drive that 3-pound sledge in there, and it splits it off. But I mean, it's so easy and simple. It's like I can have 200 boxes of kindling that will last all winter in just about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's just so simple.
Yeah. That axe is that, when I first got it, I was like, I need an axe. And I bought that one. It's got a plastic handle. It's not going to, but I'm going to tell you what, that thing is, it's the best axe I've ever had.
Oh, yeah. I've had some of them old wooden ones, some of them ones my grandpa used.
Mm-hmm.
And I was using one of them. And when the head sticks in the tree over there that you haven't cut down yet,
Yep.
you're like, well, I'm going to get something a little safer. That damn thing is going to kill somebody. Because
Yeah.
I drove wedges in the top. I'd put it back on, drive a wedge down in the top. It snug it up for a while. And then, humidity or dry, it always changed. So then it would swell or shrink. Next thing you know, here goes the head flying again. I'm thinking, I'm going to kill somebody with this damn thing, and I ain't going to mean to. So I got to.
And the other thing, those wooden handled axes, they, that center of gravity is about a foot up the handle on you, and you hit something just right, and it'll shake your teeth out.
Oh my God, especially when you're hitting oak or sun.
Yeah.
Luckily, we don't have much oak here in Oklahoma.
Well, I've been burning that blackjack, and that stuff splits pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's real brittle.
You give
it a good hot wood.
Yeah, you give it a good whack, and you send 2 pieces of wood flying across the yard.
Oh yeah, it splinters real nice. Yeah, it's a very hard dry wood.
Yeah.
This shit around here we do. And that's the problem. A lot of people can't figure out why their houses burn down due to fireplace, and it's because they burn all this cheap wood like cottonwood and pine, and then they use a really hot wood like oak or something.
Yeah, pine's really bad.
Yeah, and it causes all that goo up in your flume.
Yep.
And if you don't clean it every year, I want to tell you what, that goo will catch on fire, and it gets hot enough, it will burn to a triple stove wall. It'll get so hot it will make it glow red. And then the next thing you know, your roof's on fire, and then your wall's on fire, and anything else that goes through.
Yep, absolutely. That's something that you got to be careful of. I haven't done those CSL logs yet.
No, I haven't either.
I was gonna kind of try one. I was just gonna run it. I do a lot of experiments. Like when I see something that somebody's using for something, I will buy it and use it and see if it really does it.
Right.
So I'd like to. What I want to do is get pictures inside my flue and then burn one of those CSLs and see if it really cleans stuff up or if it's just a
gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Boswell's saying use conifers. It's a low heat wood.
Yeah.
Creosote. Yeah, creosote. I try not to burn any of that. It gets too damn hot.
Yeah. Well, pine. If you burn it, it doesn't get hot enough to like vaporize all of the tar, and it just makes so it kind of causes a lot of buildup inside your.
Yeah, that and cottonwoods both do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I run through that every year. I'm like, what the hell?
If you want to play a dirty trick on somebody, go send them a bunch of paradise tree.
All right, what's that do?
Well, paradise tree is a special kind of wood that doesn't burn.
Really?
It'll sit there and it'll just turn to charcoal, and anything around it that'll burn will burn, but it will just sit there and turn to a log of charcoal.
Well, as long as it burns off heat, I guess that's okay.
Well, it never glows red. It just turns black. It's a horrible. We tried to burn that. We had a couple of them in our yard. We cut them down. We tried to burn them in the fire pit.
Oh, nice.
And you could burn a big giant fire around them, and the next day you go out there and there'll just be some black logs laying in there. It's horrible.
Wow. Cindy
then if-
Fuller Stevens, hello. Good to see you. Bad thing is, I'm fixing to shut this live down. And so, but anyway, John, always a blessing to have you on here. I'm glad you come in. I hope you keep coming back.
Oh, I try. I'm just I'm busier than a one-eyed cat watching two mouse holes.
Well, stick your foot over one, you ain't gonna watch it no more. And then you can just watch the other one.
Yeah, I'm glad you came in, John. I got to learn a few things tonight.
Well, we get into some of the deep technical discussions, and we may take that offline because some people in the chat are like, not this guy again.
No, you're welcome here anytime.
Yeah, it was very informative.
No, I love it. I love it when you show up. Like I said, and I love having the diversity here where everybody comes in. We got a little everybody in here, and it keeps everybody entertained so they don't hear the same old crap every night. And that's what's fun about it.
Well, I've got a lot of projects that I'm working on, like making charcoal and trying to build soil in Oklahoma. Because there's only one thing that grows in sand and clay, and that is sandburrs.
Yeah, or goat head, sandburrs, goat heads, or the devil's claws.
Yep.
And tumbleweed.
I will tell you how to get rid of goat heads.
The weed burner.
Nope. It's easier than that.
Okay.
Right about now, they're starting to sprout in my yard. 2,4-D will kill them as long as you get it before they flower.
Right. Yeah. You got anything that you want to get rid of perennial, you got to get it before it flowers. Because once it flowers, it's already seeded out.
Yeah. Well, 2,4-D will kill the plant, but once it flowers, it will not kill the plant either.
Correct.
So I buy 2,4-D in a 5-gallon bucket, and when I mow, I spray until we don't have goat heads anymore.
Yep.
Sandburrs, I haven't found a way to get rid of those yet.
Usually in that right before the yard starts grassing up, greening up, and right in the fall, you just take a weed burner and burn that shit, and it'll pop them seeds.
Yep.
And because those damn things will lay dormant for 40 years if they get buried.
Yeah.
And then they'll pop right back out. But you can get rid of within 2 seasons, you can get rid of them in a hurry.
Yeah, I've got a weed burner last year, but I'm going to tell you, there were so many sandburrs in this yard, I was afraid to fire that thing up because it would have burned this whole county down. But,
well, keep mama close with the garden hose, ready to spray, and just keep the city on alert, and I think you'll be all right.
Well, I went out there and did a little bit of burning, but I went through a half of a 20-pound propane bottle in about 4 minutes.
What the hell?
It's a 250,000 BTU torch.
Hello, choke it down.
Well, but
you're not supposed. It's not supposed to be scorched earth. It's supposed to be scorched plant.
No, I'm going to tell you that the sand in the clay, I made glass in the backyard.
I was going to say, yeah, you got a glass backyard. I don't know what the hell you're worried about now. You can just walk on glass.
Damn.
Son. Sounds like you need to go ahead and go with that sin lawn I'm talking about. You just bury all that under 6 inches of concrete to pack it down to 2 inches, and then you throw that lawn over it, staple it down, it's done forever. No more stickers, no more problems.
I got a 2-acre yard.
Well, just do the things that's close to you where the kids play.
Well, so the sandburrs are my arch enemy this year. So all the other stuff I think I can take out, but the sandburrs, that's going to be fire. I have the torch. I just need more propane.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to put it on a damn dragon wagon so you can drag it around because you're gonna need a lot of propane with that big ass weed killer.
I will say though, at that spot that I hit with that torch, There is no sandburr sprouting. There's nothing sprouting.
I was going to say, it's glass. How can it?
You know, it did what they said it would do.
Well, hell, you're out there in your backyard making ceramic tile, mosaic ceramic glass tile. I mean, just do your whole damn yard and you can decorate it any way you want then. Son, come on.
Well, you know, overkill is actually good for you, right?
I mean, even a damn rubber tire only puts out 28,000 BTU of heat. You got something burning just as hot out of a little bitty nozzle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, though. When you hit the switch on that, the neighbors look over at you.
Well, yeah, it sounds like a jet airplane taking off in your hand.
Well, you know.
I got a weed burner, but my God, when I kick it on, it's not like everybody turns their head to see what the hell's going on. Mine's just barely one of those ones that heat up a cattle prod, you know, you stick on a cattle's ass and put your insignia on them.
Yeah, you know, excess is access to excess, I guess is what you'd call that.
You watched too many Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Well, he is kind of my hero. I'm like, at least buy tools that are big enough. If they don't work for your need, you can use it to tear something up with.
Yeah. I torch high schools down with this. Yep, this is good for that. So I'm going to go spray it in my yard and see what happens. What the hell? You must have bought that shit from Benford Tools.
It's a pretty impressive tool. I mean, it's just one of those things. If you have friends over and you're drinking, you go, "Hey, well, I got something to show you."
Let me start this fire in this fire pit for you.
No, what's cool about it is if you just hit the trigger on this, you got fire on one side, and then your propane bottle will ice over. So you got fire and ice right there in one tool.
Oh, that's a lovely sight. That's just when you kick over the propane bottle on its side so it don't freeze the whole damn thing up.
Well, no, you set your beer in top of the propane bottle, okay? And then you hit that torch a few times, and it keeps your beer cold for you.
Yeah, you keep your fire lit. And your friends and your neighbors. Shit.
It's a safety measure. The top of the propane bottle will only hold 4 beers.
Yeah, hey. Cool. Everybody else stay the hell away from my propane bottle. I'm not worried about you and the propane. I'm worried about you and my beer.
So somebody's saying that pre-emergent works for sandburrs. I'm not a big fan of pre-emergent for a couple of reasons. I mean, there's some times when you need it, but the problem with pre-emergent is you have to keep putting it down, and I want it dead, so I don't have to keep putting it down. But
yeah, and salt, just pure salt, iodized salt will do just about as good too.
yeah, my strategy this year is I'm going to put starter fertilizer down here in a few days and try to get everything to sprout so that I can kill it.
Yeah, because good grass will choke out them seeds. They will choke out the roots of them seeds. They really will.
The only problem with good grass is you have to have good soil, and I'm in Oklahoma, so now I've got to build soil. So it's that thing where you got to how do you build soil out of sand and clay? Well, I'm actually looking at biochar. So
yeah, biochar. You could mix some of that in.
Well,
and you can find some of these damn manure places and get you a little load of manure, and that would help too. And blend it in that soil real good.
Yeah, so I do have an abundance of leaves and and so what I'm building is it's a charcoal retort, but I'm designing it so that you can charcoal leaves in it, and then you can apply that to your compost bin as browns, and then that will inoculate it, and then increase your it'll increase the volume of your compost. But still,
absolutely.
composting over 2 acres is
That's a big area.
that is a lot. So we're going to do the front yard, which is only 1/2 an acre. So,
Still a lot of area.
oh yeah,
I got half a city block right here I take care of. So yeah, I went to a lot of that horse shit.
well, see, the thing is, if I can get grass growing, it'll build soil faster because I will, I mulch everything in, and then I'll do that for 2 or 3 years, and then dethatch it.
Oh yeah,
compost that. But being able to mulch it into the ground will build soil really fast. But if you don't have anything growing there, every time it rains, it just washes it all away. So
I want to tell you, I put a lot of. I use a lot of bluegrass or buffalo grass and rye, because rye will come up and hold your soil together.
Yep.
While your buffalo will come up. And
yeah,
it's a stabilizer, and it works really well. But then you just keep overseeding it every chance you get. Right before a good rain or right after it, just overseed it, and just keep doing that. And I want to tell you what, eventually you can choke it all out within about a year and a half.
yeah. I'm looking at a high heat fescue with a rye mix, and I'm going to try that. And that I use that up in Kansas City, man, and that stuff was awesome. But you don't have the heat up there that you have down here,
Well, and if nothing else, if all else fails, go with Zoysia. You will not like Zoysia. You will spend more time cutting that shit. Get this, they even use Zoysia in pastures now because they can go out there and bale that shit, and they'll have to bale it because Zoysia grass will grow minimum water. You can just let the nature take care of it because it will grow with no water.
Yeah,
That shit will grow. It's like kudzu. You know what kudzu is?
yeah.
Okay, it'll grow like that, damn near. Now it won't grow 6 inches a day like kudzu will, but this shit will grow 6 inches a freaking week.
Well, see, the problem up there we had with Zoysia is it will grow really good, but as soon as the cold hits, it collapses. And so
because the roots will freeze. That's why you always got to keep your yard wet, even right before a good freeze.
Yeah.
Because then all the frost is on the top and it don't get to the roots. So always keep your water fed in the always keep your water going on your grass, even right up to, if it gets 40 degrees outside, water your yard.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that, because that water will freeze on the top and it keeps all that shit from freezing below.
Yeah, I've just got to learn a new strategy here in Oklahoma. We had it mastered up there, but it's going to be another learning experience. I really like fescue though, but a lot of people say fescue doesn't do good here. But there's a high heat strain. There's a company that I shopped with up there, and they've got a high heat that they said does good in Oklahoma. So.
Well, and fescue will do fine here. It's just a lot of damn work and a lot of water.
Yeah, that's what I see up there. It done so good. We never had to water it.
Yeah,
but,
it's a lot of water.
Yeah, so here's a whole different beast. So,
yeah. But anyway, other than that, I guess we're gonna shut down. I'm already 30 minutes past what I normally run. But hey,
right.
John, you are. Please come back. I have had a blast with you.
Well, I'll try as long as they're not working me to death. But I don't know if they like me or hate me because they try to work me to death.
They're trying to get all the good out of you that's left.
I always tell them I'm sorry I do such good work because everybody wants me to do work.
Yeah, yeah. I only know how to do it one way, and that's right. So piss off and let's go.
Yeah. Well, it was good talking to you, and I will. I'll venture back up here once in a while. It just depends on the workload I'm under.
Man, that is awesome. I love to hear that. And like I said, you still got my number, you still got my email, you still got it all.
Yeah, I didn't get a message from you, but try my email. Of course, my phone and everything since I moved is gone. I think you had my home number, and so that's probably disconnected, or somebody else is very confused about messages they're receiving.
Right, right.
So, but I think you should still have my email.
Yes, I do. I think that's how I got a hold of you just the other night.
Yeah, I didn't see one come through.
Somehow I got a hold of you because you're here.
I actually just saw you on Tammy's page and looked you up on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep. But yep, I'll jump back up here once in a while, and it's good talking to you. And we may have to meet halfway and have a coffee or something someday.
Oh, absolutely. Because I know exactly where you're at. Hell, I can have coffee all the way down there. I don't care.
All right. Sounds
all right,
good.
bud. I'll talk to you soon. And ladies and gentlemen, thank each and every one of you for showing up. It wasn't for you. Like I said, we wouldn't have a show. So thank you all for showing up. But we're going to shut her down for tonight. We'll be back on here at 7 o'clock Central again. And then, sorry, I was trying to keep up with chatting just a little bit, but same old. We'll be back on here at 7 Central. Who in the hell knows what's going on? And Mr. B had to bail. He was tired. But I knew when I called him and woke him up that I knew he was tired. So anyway, y'all have a great evening, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night. Love y'all. Thank you.